Today we're checking out the Azzuno MIG200F. I've been eyeballing this unit for a while. I'm pretty excited to check it out. Let's dive in. Alright guys, here it is, the Azzuno MIG200F. As its name indicates, this is a 200 amp unit. It runs off of 120 or 240 volts, and it has both synergic and manual functions. I've been looking at this unit for a little bit, and I'm pretty excited to check out all the features. I want to see how this thing performs when you really push it. The first thing we're going to do is go through the inventory of everything that comes with this, and then we'll check out the user manual. Okay, so here are the consumables. You get I'm not going to open this up. You get two tips here. Looks like the gun's got a tip in it also, so I'm just going to assume 30, 35 or 40, 45. Let me see. You're gonna get your standard tips there, probably more than you need for the average welder. And this is a 0.9 and 0.8. These are, there's no designator on here, so you'll have to actually feel it to find out what kind of groove that is, or look on the contents inventory, which should be in the manual. Moving on. Okay, you've got your stinger here. It looks pretty decent. It looks heavy duty. Yeah, I would trust that. I'm not going to open this because I'm not going to be doing any stick welding. By default, this unit runs off of 120, 110, whatever you want to call it. So you do get a pigtail to convert it to 220 or 240. Ground cable and ground clamp. I call this standard issue for budget welders. So as always, you can upgrade your clamp. That's probably all you need. The conductor size on this looks fine. So you can always upgrade your clamp if you prefer. And let's go ahead and let's open up this gun. All right, guys, let's open up this gun and see what this is all about. My initial impressions already are not good. Just looking at it, it looks like the materials look like toy plastic, if that makes sense. It's got good heft to it, but this, I don't know about all this here. This feels like it even looks like it. Let me see if I can get in on this here and really show. I don't know if this shows the plastic. Don't mind that raw skin on my hand there. That was wrenching on a vehicle yesterday, and things like that happen. Anyhow, yeah, this stuff, I don't know. I hope it surprises me and it's better than it feels, but I'm not impressed. Likewise with the gun. The gun's got like this toy gun feel to it, you know. I'm not digging it. And just look at this. You must be able to see that, like, it's got all signs of cost cutting basically. And so if I were to keep this machine, if I bought this thing and or I traded it with somebody, I would definitely I'd probably scrap this thing. It's a spring nozzle. Not a fan of that either, and that's probably what I was expecting from this gun anyways. So we'll see how that goes. I think I've said it before. I did a review on the tool IM TL200M, and this gun is basically, this gun and this machine is basically what I'm measuring all these budget welders against, because this tool IM TL200M, this thing I was thoroughly impressed. The build quality of the gun, I went over that in my review. This is what your gun should be, what you should be looking for, and the performance and all that stuff was shown in that review. So like I said, this gun and the tool IM machine itself is what I'm using to measure these other machines against that fall in this price range and in this 200 amp range. So food for thought. All right, guys, let's check this. Let's check out this user manual. In my opinion, you can get a good first impression about a machine by the user manual, how it's written, and how much information is provided by the manufacturer. So, okay, so far so good. It's looking pretty good. I'm just kind of scanning through this thing looking for misspellings or basically any paragraphs or explanations that don't make sense because the English is improper. And this one looks like it's been proofread pretty good. So, and they've got colored photos in here. You can see that, which is actually a nice touch. Let's see. They've got plenty of warnings in here. Informational wise, it's pretty good actually. This is like, I'd probably give this thing a 10. And as far as layout, the way it's laid out, all the cautions, dangers, all that stuff looks professional. They even have stuff about EMF, arc rays, dangers, all that other stuff. They cover the lift TIG setup and operation. Troubleshooting, typical stuff. Well, I'm actually really impressed. I'm surprised actually. This is really good. Keep in mind though, it is in everything's metric. So you're looking at millimeters, and instead of inches per second, you're going to be looking at whatever meters or millimeters. I'm not sure how this one's set up. Let's see. Right now they just okay. So you don't you don't set up your feed speed when you're doing, even when it's in manual mode. You're just going to be setting your current and your voltage. That's what it looks like here. So, but yeah, as far as the design layout, this manual gets a thumbs up So great job there, Azzuno. All right, guys, here's the backside. Nothing special going on here. I don't know what that grommet's for. It looks like that might have been for something else or a different model that they used this back panel for. But there's nothing in the manual that talks about that. That's just something that's there, and it's a non-functional piece. Keep in mind, one thing is your gas connection. It's a barbed fitting, and you're going to have to find some way to adapt your standard hose, a 5/8 hose, to fit on here. From what I can see, you can sacrifice a standard hose and just cut off the fitting on it, and you should be able to pull it over this and hose clamp it on there. If not, I'm sure there's other options, other routes to go for getting a nice, a good leak-free connection on that. So just one thing to take into consideration. All right, let's check out this, the side door on this. All steel formed sheet metal. It's fine. That's acceptable for this price range. And now here's well, let's look at the feeder, the fitting mechanism, all that stuff looks about what you would expect. Hardware, everything was fine. The one thing that I noticed when I did open this up is this spindle for your wire spool. I've never seen this before, and just looking at it, I'm not liking it. So basically, you have a raised circle back here, and it's not even a 1/4 inch long. Let me take this off the tripod so you can really see. So you've got this very small ridge back here, okay? And your 10-pound spool is going to run on that. And then on top of that, you've got this piece right here, which is very flimsy. That's going to push up against it and basically sandwich the spool in between there. And you got a spring, and you've got this plastic retainer with the metal insert inside, and that's supposed to do the job. I don't want to knock it too early, but I don't really like that, and I'm just kind of looking at it thinking, why'd they cut cost on that? The material itself, I mean, you look at other things on this unit, say like just for instance, this handle. This thing's like a really nice handle, and they went the extra length on that to equip it with something nice like this, when it could have just been like a really piece of crap handle. And the importance of the handle, it pales in comparison to the importance of your spindle and how smoothly your wire spool moves on that. So that's just a big question that I'm posing to Azzuno. Why do you guys do that? But it remains to be seen. We'll see how well it feeds, how well the 10-pound spool, how well it moves on that thing, and we'll go from there. All right, so keep in mind that just having that little raised ridge in there, and it doesn't even fit it. Look at this. Look at that slop there. Oh man, that's a big negative there. So you've got to hold that, you've got to pin that up against there, and then grab this thing, put everything together, tighten it down enough where it's not going to come off of that off that little shoulder that's in there. And you still got that much slop in there. Come on, Azzuno. You guys could have done a lot better than that. You should have sacrificed this this handle up here and used that plastic for your spool spindle in here. Your spindle is a lot more important. You don't need this crazy nice handle up here. You could have just done a standard issue handle and put those costs towards your making an appropriate spindle for your wire spool. Okay, I just wanted to show that, and I'm also going to show the manual feed for feeding the wire through your gun. All right, guys, I just wanted to show the manual feed function on this. As I said earlier, you just hold down the manual feed and it starts off slow and slowly speeds up. This allows you to load or feed your gun without energizing the welding circuit. So let's check that out. Okay, good to go. That went pretty smooth, not too bad. All right, guys, let's take a look at this this whole front end of this unit, because I feel like this is the highlight of this unit. First off, the surrounds on here, these aren't plastic. They're like a rubber, and it feels really good. Like really good quality stuff. The control panel itself, everything looks really nice. The knobs function well. Button pressure is good. And so just the layout is very easy to understand from what I can tell here. We'll power it up soon and go over all the functions, but I love this front control panel. I think it's got both a nice look to it and a very functional layout. All right, so here's the control panel. We're all powered up. We've got all our LEDs indicating what is what. So we'll start up here. This is showing what your power is set at. We're hooked into 240 or 220, whatever you want to call it. And you've got your 110 LED, your 220, and overcurrent. Let's move down some. You've got your function or your gas selection. So you've got CO2, you've got mix, and flux core. We'll be using 100% CO2 today. What I love about this unit, it does have full independent control. Not micro adjustments, but full control with the manual mode. So that's a really great option. You can go straight into synergic mode right here. You've got 0.6, wire diameter 0.8, and 1.0. So the synergic function will calculate based on your wire diameter and your selection, your amperage selection. And the amperage goes all the way from 40 to 200 when you're connected to 240 power. Okay, moving on. You've got your different process here. You've got your MIG2T, MIG4T, your stick welding, and DC TIG. Pretty straightforward. I'm going to run on a MIG2T. You've got your, here you've got your, you got plus or minus 3 adjustment when you're in synergic mode. Okay. And on this side, you've got plus or minus 10 for your inductance adjustment. Yep, and that's all you've got there. So you set your amperage to where you want it. It's gonna automatically set your voltage, and if you choose to, you can adjust your micro adjustments there. And last but not least, you've got here, which is a nice option, a nice feature, is your manual feed. So when you're loading up your wire, you can just hold this here, and it starts slow, and then the speed increases, and this you can feed your wire through your gun without energizing your welding circuit. And that's it for the control panel. Let's move on down to the lower connections. All right, we've got our lower connections. Just wanted to just give a visual on this. Everything looks fine. There's absolutely nothing that is of any concern here. This all looks good, especially for this price point. So good job there, Azzuno. All right, guys, that's it for the control panel, and going over some of the features of this unit. The only thing left to do now is grab some metal and see what this thing can do.
Alright guys, here goes the inside corner joint. I think the machine did pretty decent on it. It had a little bit of spatter and some sputtering with the feed, but overall it did a pretty decent job. Okay, and here goes the outside corner joint. Did a pretty decent job on this. Also, I think it got some pretty decent penetration on this one. So overall, I think it did a pretty solid weld here.
Stringer bead at 180. Here's a stringer at 200. 200. 180. 180. 200.
Alright guys, and finally here's the lap joint. This was at 180 and doing a weave pattern. I think the joint came out pretty solid, so I think the machine did pretty good on that one.
All right, folks, there you have it, the Azzuno MIG200F. There's a lot of things I like about this machine. including the control panel. I love the way the control panel is laid out. Everything's very functional. The ease of use, um, it's very intuitive. Uh, I love the materials that they used all around the front panel and on the corners. Great job on that. Um, the ground cable, the stinger, that stuff like that's about what you would expect, what I would call standard issue for a budget welder. Little things like the handle, good job on that. That's a nice, comfortable, very solid handle there. Um, the things that I don't like that I wish maybe they should have taken the costs that were associated with the handle and dumped it into the spool spindle in there. I think that could have been a lot better design. That's just me personally. I don't like it. I don't like fumbling around with the 10-pound spool when you're trying to worried about getting it, feeding it, and you don't want it to bird nest on you. I think that design could have been improved a lot. It still can. So Azzuno maybe make a version 2 of this. Anyhow, the casing is good, nice and solid steel. The gun, I already talked about that. This thing, using it, it felt fine. Um, but just when you actually look at the detail and you look at the quality, this thing feels like a kid's toy. So does the connector here, the Euro connector. Um, the good news is you can swap this thing out, upgrade to a nice quality one. The tool IOM TL 200M, the one that I mentioned earlier in this video, that will directly, it's a direct replacement for this gun. You can buy one of those and upgrade it. The thing is, those are some of the things you don't want to have to do when you're buying a budget welder, because say you're spending just under 300 bucks on it, and then now you got to go spend another whatever 150 bucks to upgrade your gun. By the time you get to that point, you might as well just choose another welder that's going to perform a lot better um, in that price range. So anyhow, I had a lot of fun with it. There's a lot of positives. Like I said, the control panel, the operation of the unit was pretty decent. The synergic function was okay. I did have to crank it up a little bit higher than I thought I would need to for this quarter-inch plate, these base plates. But it did okay. It wasn't the smoothest. It wasn't the smoothest arc for sure. There's a lot of popping and sputtering, and that had been hit with the flap wheel, and it was nice clean raw metal, shiny metal. So it shouldn't have been doing that. It should have been a lot smoother. And aside from that, I would say if I had to give this unit a rating on a 1 to 10, I'd put it somewhere around a 6 or a 7. And just because of some of the major components, high use components like the gun, that should be a lot more durable. And for the spool, the loading mechanism in there, and the spindle that spool is going to be running on constantly during operation, that should have been improved. So that's all I have for this machine. As always, thanks for watching. Take care.